Yeah, Cash Gang.
Ayy, what you know good? I'm Darius Cash,
And I'm Tori Live.
and this is the Bernard Song Podcast, where pain has a voice and healing finds rhythm. Hey, look, so we mostly gonna let Tori Live take it away, lead the conversation, because she has a few things on her mind. On our previous episodes, this is the third episode. Previous episode, first episode of the second season, we had on a partner of mine, Buck, aka Ramon. Second episode, we had on Christian Acock. He was here to talk about his EP, I Am Saved. I'm saved. I'm saved. So, Tori, what's happening?
What's up? What's up? All right, so I'm feeling excited to be here in season 2. How y'all feeling? How you feeling? How you doing?
Man, look, you know me. I ain't got to tell you I'm excited. Just watch my flow. You did what I'm saying. Like, we gets it done. You know what I mean? Like, that's how excited I am. I'm excited to keep on busting moves, keep on getting this money on, and keep on taking steps forward, all through the grace of God.
I love how you tackling your most important meal of the day, breakfast. All right, looks healthy too. What you eating?
You know, we
Good.
got a little parfait going on
Little
right now.
parfait
But you ain't even asked Christian how he was doing. You said us, like, Christian, what's up with you, bro?
Well, Christian, you didn't say nothing. How you doing, Christian? Christian, this is a really special day. Like, they don't know, but today is the day of your album release party, though.
Yeah,
It's an EP shot. It's an EP album. EP.
Well,
you know,
we're speaking albums.
EP,
We're
LP.
speaking albums into existence here. But your EP release for I'm Saved is tonight. So excited. How you feeling?
I'm pretty good. This is my first show, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
First of many. First of many.
First of many.
Yes. So, like, we got a lot of good things happening here. We got EP releases. We got second seasons of Bernard Song Podcast. We got business ventures and stuff getting ready to kick off. Like, just a lot of things are happening. And I love to talk about the good. I always love to talk about the positive. I like to call myself a solution-based person. So, I'm like, we can talk about what's going wrong, but let's get to what's going right. But today, I really want to talk about, let's get real with the people. I need a little bit of all you guys to chime in on this one because I want to talk about pivoting, like navigating the pivot, you know. So I'll kick it off. There's a lot of things in life that my favorite person, one of my favorite speakers is Les Brown. And he talks about how life will really catch you on the blind side. And there's nothing you can do about it. You cannot dodge it. You cannot dip on it. It's kind of like, y'all seen Final Destination. Everybody at the table seen Final Destination, right?
Man, oh my gosh!
Like, you cannot outrun it. Like, and I'm not so much the death part of it, but like,
Right.
You cannot outrun the destiny part of it. If it's your destiny for this or for that to happen, you can get in the way of your destiny. You could slow it down. But if something's just like, it has to happen, it's going to happen. And sometimes those things are not always like the things that we think are the best. They're not the most fun things, right? Kind of like chores. Like, you got to get it done. You may not want to do the laundry, but eventually, unless you're just planning on running out of clothes, you got to do it. So, like, I want to talk about just navigating those hard times, those tough times, because, you know, like what are we doing? Like, let's get into what are some of the tough times that we've had, that we've encountered, and the hard parts of navigating through it. But ultimately, before we end off, like I said, I like to end off on a positive. So we got to talk about how we made it through or how we're making it through, because some of us, it's a constant thing for us. So I like to say that I have a lot of open tabs. If you open up my phone, don't say nothing, Darius. Don't say nothing. If you open up my phone, there's a billion open tabs. If you open up my computer, there's a billion open tabs. And this is really something I'm working on, not just closing the tabs on the applications, but like closing the tabs in my life. I was talking to you earlier, Christian, about, you know, the EP and how like you got to the end of your project. Like it's the beginning of another chapter, but like another phase for it. But at the end of the day, like at least you saw the vision, you created, and you like finished it. Like we got the finished product sitting on the table, and then there's me, and I have so many ideas, so many plans for businesses, so many rough drafts of flyers. So like I have skeletons of like books and everything, and I know that God has placed a lot on me and even given me sequential order of certain things, but it's just getting to that final stage, actually seeing it all the way through. Sometimes it's like I'll talk about my business a little bit. Like I started a soap business back home in New Jersey, and I was selling like soaps and stuff, and I was getting ready to just add products and stuff to the line. I was testing out the theory on like, how would these hand sanitizers sell? How would these little lotions sell? And I was getting good feedback. But the thing about it is, and I gotta own my own stuff, right? Like, I wasn't exactly doing what I needed to do to be able to properly scale my business. I started kind of, you making the sales and just kind of like not reinvesting that money, taking that money and saying, oh, snap, now I can pay this and do that. But your money that you gotta like look at it like, this is what you made, but this is really what you made, because you gotta take the money that you invested in the beginning and put it back. And sometimes, depending on what your profit margins are, double it, so you can run it again. But I was still really young in business and trying to figure out what to do next, and not having really good money management skills either in my personal life. So, of course, I didn't have really good money management skills in my business life. So everything felt like it was caving on me. I got really anxious because nobody wants to fail. And this was my first really big thing. I put myself out there, put my name out there. Now I'm feeling like so embarrassed because it's tanking. What do? I tried to save it and really didn't end up saving it. So I kind of took a break. And in taking a break, I said, I think in like 2018, I decided to take a break. 2019 rolled around. The whole year, kind of didn't do nothing. Kept threatening to get back into it, just threatening to get back into it. I wasn't doing nothing on my social media. I wasn't doing nothing. Wasn't maintaining any of the relationships. Like, I maintained the relationships I had business-wise because I was also doing poetry. So people kept seeing me, at venues and stuff, and, like, they would ask. Of course, they're asking. I'm like, I'm just on a hiatus. I took a lot of time even away from like being Tory Live, because like those of y'all who know me, outside of all this, I did at least 7 years of going live every single day and motivating people, inspiring, just posting positive videos, because I felt like that was something that God had called me to do. That was something that the world around me needed, and it was enough negativity out there on the internet. I wanted to add a little bit of positivity. But even with that, I started going through my own challenges in life where it was hard to be able to encourage somebody else, because I was so down. I was going through depression. I was going through a failing business. Like, what could I tell somebody else? And I really just began to kind of close off and go inside. And then I was like, like towards the end of 2019, I'm like, it's up. It's up. 2020, perfect vision. I'm going to do it. And the pandemic hit. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm not going to do it. Now I'm more depressed. Now there's a lot going on. Now people worldwide passing away. The death rate is going crazy. We don't know what's going on. And eventually, like, I moved out of Jersey. Like, I went through so much anxiety, so much depression. I had a relationship fall apart. I had everything. I was making money. I had multiple jobs, so I'm bringing in good income. I'm building on my credit score. I'm building my savings. It's lit. And when the pandemic hit, it just put everything on a halt, and I felt like it canceled everything for me. That was gonna be the year. I'm talking about that money was looking right. I'm talking about that credit was looking good. I'm talking about I'm about to go ham, and nothing went the way that I thought it was gonna go that year, and I ended up leaving New Jersey and I moved to California to go stay with my friend out there. She had been telling me to come live with her for a while, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Because I've been threatening again. I do a lot of threatening, but I don't really be acting on my threats. So don't look at Darius. I be acting on my threats. Look.
You be threatening him?
It's
I'm
all
an
love.
innocent bystander standing by.
It's all love. It's all love. That's my boo. But like, I said I wanted to move out of state. I had only lived in New Jersey all my life. I had only been outside of New Jersey maybe a handful of times, and it was very close. New York is right there, so that doesn't really count. That's like our sister state. Been to Connecticut, but that was for like a church trip, so I wasn't really out there exploring. Been to Florida, also for a trip. Been in the Carolinas for a family type of like vacation. But been to Jamaica. That was dope. But outside of that, this was all things I was doing with other people. I had not taken my own initiative to go explore, go see what else was out there, go travel, do any of those things. And I kept threatening to do it, but never really moving on it because I was scared. So now, pandemic happened, everything's feeling real canceled. I'm talking about I'm pivoting hard. Like, from the time I started the business, I think I started the business in 2018. By the end of that year, that's when I took my break. In 2019, it was like, maybe. And then 2020 is when everything kind of...
Yeah.
So, I moved to California. I finally took a leap of faith because I felt like I had been so scared for so long, and at this point, I'm going in circles. I'm creating the same cycles over and over again. So, like, how do I reverse the curse? How do I start something new? What do I need to do? So I decided to just, go. And I didn't think that leaving the state was going to change anything about me, because that has to be inside. You can't just go and be like, oh, I'm going to move to Idaho, and it's going to be so different. Your surroundings will be different. But if you take the same energy, the same mind, the same mentality, you're just going to live, like, I'm just going to live in Newark all over again in Georgia. Same life, same lifestyle. Everything's the same if you don't break up the monotony in your mind. So I moved out to California with her, stayed out there for a little while. Then I had to pivot again. And, because stuff happened with our friendship where our living arrangement was no longer really going to work. And I ended up taking a great leap of faith coming to Georgia. I knew nobody in Georgia. Like, at least in Cali, I had her and her mom, but I knew nobody in Georgia. And I just said, well, God, I'm going to trust you because you've helped me make it this far. California was a great experience for me, and I feel like I needed that experience to get my feet on the ground, to stop being afraid, and to understand that, like, you can stick the landing. And I said, if I could stick the landing here, this is a new change. This is a big pivot for me, going to a place I don't know anybody, but I'm going to take the chance. And if I fail, I fail. And, I didn't want to go back home to Jersey because I felt like that would be too much of a failure for me. Going back home, I didn't make it out there, y'all. So I said, let me roll the dice on myself again and trust God that things will work the way they're supposed to work. And I came down here. And from here, things been, I'm not going to say things have been smooth. I had great smooth periods, but life for me has truly just been a series of pivoting. How do you pivot? How do you change? How do you, when things don't go your way, what attitude do we take on? What perspective do we take on? And I'm saying this as a person who's been extremely optimistic and also extremely depressed, right? So, like, I felt the highs and the lows, but what I know is that at the end of every, oh, no, I know you're not even here blowing your nose.
Excuse myself?
Yes.
Well, excuse me.
But what I've learned is that this is real life, y'all. This is Tory life for real. But at the end of every up and every down, you still have to find a way to navigate your way through it. It's not going to be always easy. And I've seen that in my life over and over again. And it's stressful because it's like, bro, when is it going to stop? Never.
Oh,
It's going to constantly go up and down, but you got to find the positives in it and find ways to make, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right? So, like, you got to keep making lemonade, and life's going to give you different challenges. So you're going to have to keep making different flavors of your lemonade, but you got to keep making it beautiful in every stage. So, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So, like,
Like that.
you as a college student, Christian, whew,
No
oh,
cap.
man. So, like, I know you've had to deal with different pivots, like just being a student. Like, there's your personal life, but then there's your school life. And I want your perspective as a student because anyone who knows me knows, like, I did a little bit of college. I never finished college, and I never had the on-campus experience. Darius, with your experience with college, you didn't do college. You were the one sitting amongst us.
Hey, hold up. I went to Le Cordon Bleu. That's the College of Culinary Arts. Y'all.
Okay,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did my 3 months.
You know what? And we congratulate you for
We
your
salute
3
you.
months. Clap it up. Bow. Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Serve Safe Certified.
Hey.
You did.
It's still valid.
Hell nah. You got to renew it every 5 years. I ain't never renew that mother. But I remember everything I learned. How about that?
Okay.
That's halfway cap. I don't remember everything, but muscle memory. And once I get in that kitchen, I know what's right and what's wrong.
Hey. So, Christian, with your experience as a student, like actively living on campus, like you got the full experience. I always envied people who had that full experience because I always wanted that for myself, but I vicariously lived through y'all. So tell me about like some of your experience and some of the situations in your college life where you really hit a roadblock and had to find a way to pivot and make it work.
I can tell you about so many.
Man.
But my college life has been very different than what I'm used to. It has been lots of I have been working a lot,
Yeah.
and then I'm a music major.
Yeah.
So I take more classes than most of everybody. And then everyone, since I'm a college student, everyone thinks, oh, you should go party. You should do this, do that. Mm-mm. I go to church. That's my party.
Turn up. But
God is good. That boy Country Wayne say Jesus is popping.
Jesus
Damn
Jesus
right.
pop it. It is. But like, okay, like can you give me an example? So that's your day-to-day
Okay.
college life. Can you give an example of like when something was supposed to go one way and then it went a whole different way? How did you feel? How did you navigate through it? How are you navigating through it? Because life is still happening here for you. So
Well, I would say throughout all 3 years of my college experience, I grew up living with roommates. I'm not saying no shade on them, but
hey, look, we be free. Be free. Speak your mind.
but I also grew up with brothers too. I always cleaned up behind my brothers. And so having a roommate that wasn't necessarily the best at it, it kind of reminded me of cleaning up behind my brothers a lot and feeling like a little bit of a parent almost. But yeah, definitely during college I've had it was
A time.
It was a time where I've had to do stuff that I didn't want to do and attend meetings and do all this stuff for my roommate, knowing that I got other responsibilities. But yeah, I've come to learn from it and pivot from it and not get a roommate.
Dang,
But-
not get a roommate again. Has it developed your social skills? Because I know that we've had conversations about we tiptoed a little bit around the pandemic, but your experience with the pandemic and mine was totally different.
Oh, yeah.
I was out of school. I was like working multiple jobs, but you were like in the thick of high school when this was happening.
I was just starting.
So like that's a whole pivot in itself, even before college, and then it's leading up to college. So like, can we start there with how you had to pivot through, like trying to get through high school in the middle of a global pandemic?
It was rough. I remember the week of when we were talking about it, and I was having a really good week. I was in ninth grade. I was acting a fool.
Oh, you was fresh. You just got in there.
Right, I just got in there, and I'm excited to do all this stuff. And then the week of March, I think it was that second week of March,
Yeah.
when they just kept mentioning it.
Yeah.
I thought we were going home for 2 weeks.
That was right after we lost Kobe, because I remember.
Right.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Bryant family. I remember like all the news reports. The COVID stuff was in the little corner over here.
Right,
Like,
they
was
didn't-
talking about it in a little blurb.
Right.
But we were like so focused on what happened, and this just kind of came and just sweat. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And I remember like all the grocery stores being empty of toilet paper and all this stuff. Man.
Yeah.
And then taking classes on Zoom. I hated it so much.
Man, imagine for the teachers and the students, everybody trying to learn how to do this at the same time.
Right.
That's
Shout out the
crazy.
teachers, because they work their tails off trying to get these students to turn on their camera, try to
Yeah.
at least communicate.
How do you grade that? Like, how do you even do a
Right.
participation grade on that? Like, man.
Man,
But how did you make it work for you? Because you graduated, you made it through. You even made it back through the coming back into school, where it's like y'all was like nurses, 2 days on, 2 days off.
Right.
Like, how
Yeah.
did you feel emotionally going through all of those different changes?
I was really nervous because my mom and my younger brothers got COVID,
Yeah.
and I had to separate from them for a while.
Yeah.
But
That's emotionally straining.
it is
Not knowing what could happen. Yeah.
right. And I remember like coming back or like starting to ease our way back from COVID. They had all this like guideline stuff up and like all these procedures, masks, hand sanitizer. It looked like a hospital than a school.
Yeah.
But
that's traumatizing. For real. When you think
Yeah.
about kids, like for adults it was traumatizing, but for kids, that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
and I can just imagine like the younger ones. Man. But
Yeah.
COVID was definitely a time. Not one of my favorite times, but
Nah, not one of anyone's favorites. But like, I think, how did that really affect your social dynamic? And then now here we are in college, and now there's another social dynamic with classmates, roommates, professors. Like, how did you pivot through all of that and find your way socially?
That's a great question. Because of COVID, I kind of grew up isolated a little bit.
Yeah.
And then working into college, I also implemented that into like being isolated in college and doing a lot of things on my own. My first year in college, I tried to like get out and do stuff, but it just didn't really sit well with me with how I was since high school is a vital part of like
Yeah.
that growing
That's
experience.
yeah, your social, like a lot of that you get a lot of your social skills from your younger years.
Right.
But like there's layers. It's like an onion. There's layers to social skills and social development, relational development. You going through different hormonal changes.
Right.
Certain relationships like best friends and romantic partner, like things like that happen all through those really vital high school years. And it's almost like, has anybody had a fish? Has anybody ever had a pet fish?
I had a turtle.
Okay, you had a turtle, right? Turtles are a little bit different. My sister has a turtle, and I don't think you really have to like. But with a fish, you have to condition the water before you just throw the fish in there, or they
Right.
can go through shock. So with you kind of skipping some of these vital moments in high school, big chunks of high school, and eventually coming back into the classroom, but then you kind of get thrown into college, and I think college is already it's already like that, coming straight out of a regular 4 years of high school going into college, because you're like, you go from being the big fish to now you're the smallest fish, and there's no guidelines. You really are in your adult world in college, and they just be like, boom, syllabus, boom, homework, packets, boom, get it, figure it out. You not here? Ask a classmate. Like,
yeah. I'm like,
there's no guidelines around that. So if you take that experience and you couple it with that whole pandemic and missing out on those social aspects, like, it's like throwing a fish into fresh water. He's gonna go into shock. Like, a lot of fishes die. Some of them survive. Maybe they got a little
fishy.
trauma.
Poor fishy.
And some of them die. But that's real. That's so
Yeah.
real. So, Darius.
What, me?
So, like,
he wasn't paying.
let's talk about pivoting from your perspective, Darius. Those of you who know the Darius Cash brand, y'all know, y'all keep up, y'all here, y'all watching this podcast. You know what I'm about to tell you. He's a very well-rounded individual. A lot of different ventures have come from him, and his story, like coming through the pipelines of jail and prison and making certain life decisions, like that are illustrated throughout Bernard's song, the book. Like, you got a billion speaking points that you can come from with what life looks like when you hit a hard point and you have to pivot. Can you pull from anyone, just any direction, pull from any direction where you hit a hard point and realize you need to make a pivot? How'd you navigate that?
Well, before I say anything, all thanks to God
Period.
Amen.
and the fact that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. But and I know it's some people who believe otherwise, so I'm gonna keep it personal. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You did what I'm saying? So as far as pivoting, right now we on the trade market, you know, and it's not just saying that when I was in sixth grade and I was dealing with, you know, my actual first girlfriend. You know, we used to make music and stuff. We used to draw, write we used to say that it was copyrighted. You know what I mean? We used to draw write the little C and then draw the little circle around it. It wasn't legit, but you know, there was a time when we had planned for, you know, to be rocking stages and different talking about different clothing designs and all this that. But things, you know, that's sixth grade. Things go different as you get older.
Yeah.
But so I pivoted more on the understanding of how the business actually works side. Like, because we just wanted to do it and have fun. We had no idea where none of the money was going to come from or any of the rigors of dealing with different places, different locations, different venues that have different rules, and it don't really, a lot of times it don't really matter how good you are unless you bring in the crowd with you, and there's a new face, you ain't hardly got no crowd with you.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's more so sit back, watch, and learn. So things was crazy. You know, we talk about times when I was in prison, so that was definitely a pivot. You know what I mean? Because things was seeming like they was gonna go one way. Then so my biggest pivot may have been from dabbling in the criminal element and the criminal side of things to the all the way legitimate side of things. So there are elements of pivoting when you even writing the book. At this time I'm talking about publishing. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so I was self-published, wrote the book, got self-published, and then right now I'm having an issue because I decided to take on Page Publishing. I sought them out and then wanted to see what they had to offer. Now I pitched myself to them, but I really for when you doing stuff like that, they got a standard format. They got different packages for different authors. You see what I'm saying? So I was never offered no publishing deal because I did not seek a deal. I wanted to know what they already had to offer, and I was just going to align myself with that. Now, the problem is the marketing. I went to them for marketing because I had already done everything. It was edited the way I liked it, the way I wanted it to, So I didn't need them to edit my book along the lines of the Chicago style manuscript because anybody reading the book, they know me, they know how I talk. A lot of time, and if you don't, then it's pretty much not for you. But that's not to say that people don't write books all the time, and different people who may not be from that walk of life can still understand it.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm reading a John Grisham book, and I've written a lot of John Grisham books. I read a lot of John Grisham, James Patterson, and these are white authors. They're not from the element of that or the culture of African American. But I like those books and I read those books. So I understand that it's okay. Like we ain't gotta go through and try to hit everything with a 5-2 comb. Let's market this thing and get this money. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I've been buying and selling books. It's been up to like 800 copies. Either sold or distributed. But when we talking about growing, we need the whole marketing thing. But if I got all these things that I'm creating, then at some point I got to pivot to the marketing side, and then I don't really want the marketing to hinder my creation. So because I'm the type I like to market with new stuff. Everything that I do, I like to market my past stuff with all the new stuff. But that might not already be giving stuff the attention that it needs.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. So pivoting is necessary. And this is it's a Bernard Song podcast. You feel what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about this shit. Like it's even we going through a little a transition. I guess I could go ahead and call it a power struggle with Noah's Fund, because when it first started, I had been putting money in, and it was me pulling all the strings with it. But at some point I knew that we had to bring in Noah's mom, his and the family and all that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a thing where it's at this point, Noah has been gone since he was 16 months old, and that was 2014. Here it is, we sitting in 2026, and unfortunately he doesn't have a headstone. That does not sit right with me. So it's a lot of things that I've been doing, but and I recognize that at some point in time I gotta slow down, because I can't just be trying to force my will and force my way. You know what I mean? People got to be able to have their input, and then the people who matter. You know what I mean? It don't, because we was just like, I'm gonna let you in. We was having a meeting the other day and the other week, and then I was like, it don't really matter what I want. It matters what Noah's mom wants. You know what I mean? So regardless of anything, now I'm gonna talk about anything that I want to talk about. You know what I mean? Because I ain't with keeping nothing in the dark, and ain't with because that leaves too much room for little bullshit to go on. If everybody all hush about this, hush about that, then that mean the right things ain't gonna get done, because people are scared to step up. You know what I mean? Or people are so comfortable with living their life the way they want to, so they don't want to go ahead and pivot to doing the right thing. You know what I mean? So that's pivoting in a nutshell from where I'm at.
That's strong. That's real though. And if there's so much that could be pulled from what you just said, but the biggest thing for me, and I think all of us at this table can agree that sometimes pivoting means doing the uncomfortable things, saying the uncomfortable things, going into uncomfortable rooms, because you have to pivot from what's comfortable or what might not be right or what might be outdated. You have to move from that into something new, into something better. But the only way to get to something better, we can even look at all of our civil rights leaders. We're not going to specifically say Martin Luther King, because there were so many other people in the fight to make sure that people of color had the rights to vote, had the rights to, Christian, you go to this school. Had it not been for all of the people who were a part of the civil rights movement, all the people who unfortunately lost their lives or were falsely incriminated and incarcerated just because they were trying to give people of color, young, old, and in between, give people of color the right to just be. If it were not for all of those people who had to go through those hard times, it's not easy, And it's not easy to make choices like that, because you know that everything that you are living for, your family, your job, everything is in jeopardy now. When you step up and say, I'm going to stand for this, but you got to also look at it and say, like, but is this worth it? Is this not worth me standing for it? Is it not worth me sacrificing all of this for all of that? And we're going to pull a page from Martin Luther King. He said, I may not make it to the promised land. I may not see that. I might not even get there with y'all. But you know what? This is bigger than me. This is more valuable. So I got to make a hard pivot. And I got to drive down some roads that they not the friendliest blocks. I'm talking metaphorically. I got to drive down some roads that it's a lot of potholes. It's a lot of, but I got to drive down these roads and sacrifice myself, sacrifice my metaphorical car just to get my passengers to the other side. And that's where pivoting takes on a whole new lens, because you got to see something bigger than where you're at. You got to, and even if it is about you, right? You got to see something bigger for yourself. We can look at my story and like just me deciding to make the pivot to leave Jersey and just go try something new. Just go see what else is out there. It's comfortable where I was. I talk about Newark all the time. I love Newark. I love Jersey. I love my people back home. But this was a move for me. You got to see something bigger for yourself. That you're willing to go into uncharted waters and uncomfortable territory. Because it's just like jumping into a pool. It's only uncomfortable for the first couple of seconds because your body is getting used to the water. But once you get used to the water, you good, and you realize how fun it is. You realize, this isn't that bad after all. But you got to see a bigger picture for yourself. You got to see bigger opportunities for yourself. You got to see a bigger and a brighter future for yourself. And if you don't see it for yourself, see it for the people who are coming behind you. So that's what pivoting looks like to me. And I dare to say, that's what pivoting in all of our stories looks like to each and every one of us in our own way. Stepping out of your lane, your comfort zone. Because sometimes even the uncomfortable stuff is comfortable, right? We live in a lot of, I'm not going to say you guys individually, but we as a society, we live in uncomfortable circumstances. A lot of us ain't making enough money on our job. We ain't, come on now. Come on. A lot of us ain't making enough money on our job to go get health care from the job that we work. A lot of us don't have enough money to be able to say, you know what, I'm not feeling good in my body, or I'm not feeling good in my mental. I just need to take a personal day. But we got to pay them bills, so we got to show up every day, right?
Right.
But we will stay there instead of looking for a better job or even creating a better job for ourselves. We will stay there because it is uncomfortable, but it is what we know. So, we got to step out of just what seems to be uncomfortably comfortable to figure out, is there a better way? Is there are there other flavors of that lemonade? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is my TED Talk today, for real. Darius, thank you for giving me the floor to open it up and, be able to talk about these things. I hope that you guys who are watching, if you take nothing away from this entire episode, take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on what you believe. Take a chance on your future. Like, when the hard times come, if you don't remember anything that any of us said today, when the hard times come, when it's time for you to hit a pivot, some of us are in a pivot right now. Some of us have been through a pivot. And if you haven't done either, trust me, it's on the way. And when you get to that point, I just want you to remember that when the lemons come, make lemonade. And there are different seasons in life. So don't forget that there's mango, there's cherry, there's strawberry, there's all these different flavors of lemonade that you can make out of a sour lemon.
So real quick, before we dip off, I want to shout out the lady who raised me. My grandma, her birthday was yesterday. She turned 71 years old. Woo-wee. And I should be so blessed. Thank you, Miss Linda, for everything that you've poured into me. And I knew I was hard-headed on the way up, but hey, look, it was not for it was not for nothing. Any parting remarks, Christian? Tori, you laid it down. Hey man, well, this is the Bernard Song Podcast where pain has a
Can I do it this time?
Yeah, cause I fucked it up.
He was going so well.
It was so good.
This is the Bernard Song Podcast where pain has a rhythm.
Hell no, she fucked it up too. This is the
Where
Bernard Song
pain-
Podcast
dang.
where pain has a voice and healing finds
healing
rhythm.
finds rhythm.
I'm Darius Cash. Hold up, we got to do this right.
Okay, take three.
I'm Darius Cash.
And this is Tori Live.
And this is the Bernard Song Podcast where pain has a voice
And
and healing finds rhythm.
Yeah, cash gang.